Investors and traders, welcome to the channel. Today is 7th of April 2024. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. In this video segment, we are going to take a look at the gold market. We will take a look at the gold market from a longer term perspective, longer term charts. We'll then move to the weekly chart and finally the daily chart. We'll also review the silver chart, and then we will also take a look at the key equities for gold, such as GDX, Newmont mining, etc. So we'll try to cover the gold market. And this video is for educational purposes only. It is not a financial advice. In this video, I'm not going to take a look at the dollar index or the major currencies. I've already done a video about it, so I'll put a link to that in the description. It's really important to actually take a look at what the dollar is doing, and the dollar has been pretty strong. But the gold is still moving higher and is having a fantastic move. So I highly encourage you to take a look at that video so you are familiar with what kind of price action and the patterns that we are watching in the dollar index and also the major currencies. It will also help with this analysis. Thank you for watching that. Okay, so let's move. What we are taking a look at is a longer term quarterly chart of the gold market. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of these pattern formations here. I had done a video about 2 years ago on the gold market, in that we were looking at some of these levels that we are seeing now being forecasted way into the future several years ago. And now the market is reaching and hitting those levels, and it's really interesting to see how the markets actually move and what these predictive patterns have the power to do. So it actually reinforces my belief that the markets are chaotic, but they are not random, because these patterns seem to work, and at times they work rather really well. So it'll be really interesting for you guys to actually watch that video, which was done about 2 years ago. I'll put a link to that just to show you. This is what the video was done on the 27th of February. I'll put a link to that, and you'll be able to see these long-term patterns. Okay, so what we are looking at now is quarterly chart. What I mean is that each bar is 3 months of data, and we can see that this market has been really strong. So the month of January quarter till March was very strong. This quarter has also started really strong. We were watching for certain levels of around 2278. On the daily chart, they are more clear. The market has actually reached and exceeded those levels, and based on this really long-term chart, our one-to-one price projections, the ABCD, they are in fact point towards 2680 to around $2,700 dollars per troy ounce for the gold market. And some of the people who actually are really involved in the gold market, and know some of the dealers as well, they tell me that one of the primary reasons because of the kind of moves that we are seeing in the gold market is because of central banks buying gold like there is no tomorrow. And because of their strong buying, we see these kind of incredible moves, which we are seeing in the gold market right now, and it's really fascinating. And the silver market, which we'll also take a look at, was actually lagging behind, but it's also picking up. But the gold market is way stronger. So 2,700 roughly. In my opinion, anywhere between 2,500 to 2,700 is something that we should keep an eye on, with 2,500 being a shorter term target. Now on the weekly chart, it's really interesting what's happening on the weekly chart. So we can see the last couple of weeks being really strong, especially the last week. Look at this move, but it's also approaching a key level. That's the 1.618 expansion of this entire range. And what is this range? So if we just draw from this low to this low, and the expansion of 1.618 comes right here. Now the last time when the market had hit the 1.272, there was a pause in its movement higher, and for about I would say when it was approaching around here. So we can see that this week for sure the market hit that and it moved lower. I believe it was also the week when the Federal Reserve came out with the FOMC decision for the rate, so it was really important week as well. Maybe it also triggered some profit taking, and this is just really amazing. It'll be really interesting to see once we get to 23.75, which is not too far away. In fact, Sunday night we'll have to wait and see how the market is going to open. What will happen around here? There's a possibility either we basically find some sort of resistance and some profit taking happens and it pulls back a little bit. On the daily chart, maybe it even forms some sort of a candle. We'll wait and see if it is able to blast through it. Then 2500 looks like it will be on the cards fairly shortly. Again, this is the daily chart. This is something which we had been focusing for quite some time, and we can see this big one in the red is completing around 2282. The market is above that, and then we had the 2330 market is above that as well. So it's the weekly chart levels, and then of course the monthly chart levels. Looks like this is what the market is respecting. So really strong moves in this market. There's a ABCD small one around here as well, which I have not drawn, but you can really eyeball that quite easily. Now let's actually take a look at XAU. So I just wanted to show you this PHLX gold and silver sector index. So one of the things is that where gold is and where the gold equities are, the miners are, the miners seems to be catching up. So it's good to take a look at this sector as well for gold and silver. And what we are taking a look at is a completed ABCD pattern, but looks like it also wants to go and tackle these highs around 145. So that's the XAU, and the other one we want to take a look at is the gold bucks index. So this is the HUI, New York Stock Exchange gold bucks index, and this index is also rapidly moving higher, although it completed this shorter term ABCD, but looks like it's going to go and challenge the 280 highs of this swing as well. And moving beyond that will be really interesting, because it means that we'll be looking at this bigger ABCD, which is going to go and challenge the highs around 330 or 340 level, which means much higher prices for gold as the commodity as well, as we were looking at the monthly chart. So really interesting to take a look at that. Some of the equities, if we take a look at the Barrick Gold, its symbol is also gold. Interesting to see it has also completed this ABCD here and wants to go and tackle the highs around here of 1850. Before we take a look at the single equities, let's take a look at GDX. This is the gold miners ETF, so it represents a bunch of gold miners. So one of the things is that, let's just take a look at the weekly chart here, longer term. Here we go. And what we can see is, gold is right here making new all-time highs, but the miners are just not, they have not been participating until recently in this move. The move started somewhere around 26th of February, and even from this momentum perspective, the momentum needs to really improve. And now it's only last week it closed above the 200-week moving average, so really interesting to see. This one looks like 36.50 is on the cards, and maybe beyond that 40 level, and then we could have this 1-to-1 price projection taking us to about 40.41, challenging these highs. So looks like the miners are starting to move a little bit now, and the gold, one of the primary reasons in my opinion it has been moving as the underlying commodities, because of central banks buying the commodity itself. Okay, so let's take a look at the Newmont Mining. It's one of the big miners. When we take a look at the gold miners, it's really important to actually kind of pick the kind of miners, because there are several kind of miners there. There are miners which are actually mining the underlying commodity, and then there are miners which are actually royalty based. So they are really collecting royalties by lending out their name or the technologies and stuff like that. So it's one needs to do some research before buying a gold miner, in my opinion. So here what we can see is that this market has been in a bear market, and look at this move. It has not even completed the ABC downside, but it seems to have found a base around the 30 region, and now looks like it's going to go and challenge the 42. Let's take a look at the this is the daily chart, and here we go. So it has completed the ABCD. Let me actually quickly draw it for you like this. So we draw this one, take this one, yeah, it's gonna go and challenge the 42 or 43 level quite easily, in fact, and then we'll have to wait and see. I think that will be a real positive for the stock if it begins to take out this swing high. The other equity, let's take a look at Hecla. So this is a stock which is not an expensive stock. This one can give you good percentage moves if it begins to move in your direction because of its smaller or it's not as expensive as other miners as Newmont, but one has to do their research when buying the miners, in my opinion. And what we can see is this trend line. It broke successfully out of it, and then looks like it wants to target 50.70, so $5 and 70 cents, so 5.70, and above that we have these highs around here, which could become a target around $7 for Hecla. Now it's really interesting what's happening with Hecla. If we just take a look at it from a retracement perspective, it seems to have bottom around here, very similar to what we saw in Barrick Gold around $30. So this is a double bottom here, and this is a potential double or triple bottom, and you can think about it. And then a breaking above the trend line is also something positive. It's moving and meeting the shorter term targets, but the chances are $6.33 and above that $7 might be on the cards for this one. Now there's another way to draw a trend line as well. So one can draw a trend line like this. So yeah, that also comes around the $5.70 mark. So we'll have to wait and watch that one. Another gold miner, we'll take a quick look at that, is Agnico Eagle Mines. And I'll just, here we go. So this one is interesting. It's just completed or about to complete the smaller ABCD in the blue. And it also completed, in my opinion, at least this ABC downside, forming a double bottom formation right here around the around this level of $44.30, which is very close to $43.32. So in my opinion, that's a double bottom, and that might have been a 61% or 78.6% retracement of these lows. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, bottom in between that around here, and the chances now are that it might in fact be going and completing this bigger ABCD around $66, $67, challenging these highs. And if it's able to tackle these highs and take it to the upside, that's going to be a break of the swing high, which means that this swing high has failed. So it's going to be a failure of resistance that would indicate the swing is in motion, and it could in fact move higher. So this is what we are taking a look at in terms of the key gold miners. Now we'll move on to silver. Silver is fairly interesting as well. It's not as shall I say, not as strong as the gold market, but it does seems to be kind of breaking out. In fact, let's go and take a look at this on the quarterly charts. This is a longer term quarterly chart. What we are taking a look at is possibility that this ABCD 1-to-1 price projection is in play, which could in fact see the gold, the silver, go and tackle 61.8% retracement. So that's about $35 per share, per ounce. So anywhere between 34 and 35 is what we are looking at shorter term. And of course, with this kind of move, these highs of 2011, around $50, these could in fact also get challenged if there is a bigger ABCD in play. But shorter term, in a few months, the way the market is moving could be in fact a few weeks. $35 is what we are looking at if this ABCD is in play. Again, on its way to that 35. The chances are, with this kind of strength, if it continues, it's going to go and tackle these swing highs around $30.31, and then we have the bigger $35. Now we'll just take a quick look at the daily chart. So in daily chart, what we are looking at right here, right now, is we are in fact completing this ABCD pattern around the blue line. In fact, the price is a little bit higher, and then we have another one from way down here. So we have a combination or confluence of two. So it might be the case that where the market closed last Friday, we could in fact see some sort of a pullback to come in. And if the market just blasts through that, this means that the market is really strong, and the levels that we were watching on the longer term charts are in play. So really interesting, because in gold we have also seen the market is moving really close to the 1.618 expansion. Hasn't hit that quite yet, but it is fairly close by. And in silver, shorter term on the daily chart, we are also looking at the completion of these two ABCDs. So something to watch, something to keep in mind. But the market is really strong, and look at this. It is having higher highs, higher lows, and now even higher highs since September 2022. So that's really good for this market. So quite a lot of things going for it. So in this video, I'm just going to cover gold and silver. And in gold, we also looked at some of the miners as well, including the GDX, which is the index. Maybe later on, for the metals complex, we begin to also take a look at platinum, palladium, maybe for the precious metals, and for the base metals, we might actually also include copper. So that's what we are watching. So thank you very much. I'll await your feedback. If you want to see other base metals also included, then we can just have a segment in which we just not only discuss precious metals, but we also take a look at some of the base metals as well, like copper, for example. So thank you very much for watching. Good luck and good trading. And I will be doing another video for the stock futures that we take a look at for the future indices. The reason I'm dividing these videos into smaller chunks is because otherwise the videos get really long, and then I'm not even able to cover a lot of stuff. So I think it's going to be a little bit easier to actually look at these markets individually, because then we are able to cover a lot more of these at least once a week. So on the weekly ones, we can have longer videos for each kind of the markets, such as precious metals, and then for forex have a separate video, and stock indices, of course, their own video. So thank you very much. Good luck and good trading. Speak soon.